For the players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast is fueled by the Man Shake. I lost 30 kilos in 10 months using this meal replacement shake. If you want to support the show and max in my weight loss journey, or to even start your own, click the link in the description below. The Man Shake. Real blokes, real results.
For the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. With 40 years of playing PlayStation and 6+ years in that games media combined, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and Twitter. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopculturist, where you can watch us record this show live. You can become part of the chat, become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. Or if you're listening on the podcast service, give us a 5-star rating and a written review. Or if you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Not all the shirts though, Max. We got hit with a copyright strike this week.
Which one?
The one that the Pornhub logo style one.
Oh, really?
I jokingly made like the pop culture as like a Pornhub logo, because that made me chuckle really hard. Yeah, and the actual company was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's fair."
No, that's fair.
Yeah, I'm not even going to argue that one. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. Fair enough. And there's only twice have I ever been done with a copyright request through TeePublic. One was for the PlayStation that. And I was like, all right, sure. Re-uploaded it, no issue. And and then the other one, it was like, no, whatever. It didn't. No one bought it. I just made it for funsies.
I just
like literally half of the designs on our shirt site or at our merch site are just designs that I enjoyed, so I put them on there. I expect to sell literally none of them, but for me, they're cool and they're fun, and that's the big part. For me, that's the big part of it. Because I could try to make some designs that are really good and really catchy. I was like, ooh, no, make the ones that I want to. So then one day when I want to buy a shirt with that logo on it, I can. That's the trick. It's all for me. If anyone else wants to buy one, then good on you, I guess. Sucked you in.
Fair enough.
How you been, man?
Yeah, not too bad.
What's going on?
Life.
Yeah.
Back at work after my week off. It's been
Have you recovered from a week off and then back to the nights?
It super sucked.
Yeah, you look pretty rooted.
I'm just tired all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just tired all the time at the moment. It'll take me a couple more days to get back into it, I think. Going from sleeping like a normal person, sleeping like 10 hours a night was, really nice. And now I'm back to sleeping like 5 hours
Just so
a
you
day.
know, 10 hours a night is not normal person sleep. Most people sleep like 6, 7.
I get 5 on average.
Yeah, go on there.
That's my
We need more than that, but the average person gets staggeringly less.
Yeah. It's been all right. What about you?
Yeah, mine's been pretty good, man. It's been not too shabby week this week. Some improvements in the workspace, which is good. Not big ones, but small ones that kind of push towards bigger things. Baby steps to bigger things, which is cool. So the reason for those that watch on Twitch, we normally record on a Saturday afternoon. Today is Sunday. Reason being is I went to the local wrestling again last night, and was that a roller coaster? Because the opening, there was 6 matches in total, and there was intermission in the middle. First match, trash, so trash. People probably were thinking of leaving trash. It was not very good. Second one was like, okay, all right, and there's a big promo between them and some other local promotion that no one fucking knew. So it was a really weird thing. And then the third one was this 6-man tag match where they had the men's champion and plus 2 other randos against the tag teams and some other rando. But wasn't a rando, because it turns out the third guy on that other team won the tag titles with the other guy, and then he bounced, so this other guy took his spot. He's like, that's my title. So there was action, there was drama, it was intense. It was absolutely a ripper match. And then there was an intermission. Everyone's like, wow, the energy's really, really good in this place. Then the next match after, garbage. So that they went, boo, and the room just kind of sunk. And then the second match was a bit better. Was certainly a bit better, but it kind of had a bit of ripple effect from that match back from the intermission. It's like, and the final match was a championship match for the AIWF, which is the Australian Independent Wrestling Federation Championship, between two guys. But 2 out of 3 falls. First fall happened in the ring. Crowd's fucking dead compared to like what it was. So you can literally see the moment where they went, we need to do something. You can see them talking to each other. Like, we need to do something. They're like, okay, cool. So then he just fucking yeets him out of the ring. Like, this is like, there's no stipulations here. So it's literally you out of the ring, you're counted. And you see him go up to the ref and like, got something. Like, okay, cool. So they get out, they start bussing ringside. Then one of them just gets thrown through the barrier, blows the barrier apart, and they just start wandering through the crowd, kicking the shit out of each other. And they start using the crowd as well. So like, because obviously, so Richie Taylor is one of the wrestlers. He had a friend of his there. He's like, hey, just grabs him, puts him in a fireman's carry, and then just uses him as a weapon on someone else. Gets some guy to hold the other guy, so he can beat him. Craig chopped the guy. So friend of the show, Craig, from the Mullet Show, like, yeah, during that 6-man tag, they put him against the bar. It's like, he's holding there. He's like, chop him. And Craig's like, what? It's like, chop him. Craig's like, okay, but dude, just chops this dude. It was insane. It was really, really good. Like, those highlights, like, were so good, but the lows were fucking low. Because one guy came dressed like a clown, but he smelled like burning ass hair. He was, ugh. Did the guy sell it? Yes. Asked Dash in the chat. Yes. The guy sold it so hard. Local wrestling is shit, but it's like remarkably shit. Yeah. And like, it was a lot of fun. There's a good energy, and it was very, very cool. And then because everyone around was, because obviously Craig got in and gave the chop. And Craig felt like a little infamous for a moment. Everyone's like, oh my God, man, you fucking chopped the guy. It's like, ah. And because it's all independent, like, and they're all selling their own merch and whatnot. So at the end of the, and very similar to like Melbourne City Wrestling, at the end of the night, they all come out to the thing and chat and shake your hand, and, well, maybe not so much now, they don't shake your hand, but they come in and you can meet them, you can hold the belt, you can get a top shot with them and stuff. Because like that, there's, once that end of the night, everyone's like, hey man, they're just dudes and girls, and it was so cool, and like, it's good and shit, so good. I have to take you. The next one's in Sunbury, which is like an hour away from here, so maybe I'm gonna take you to that one. But you do have to come, because it is an experience. Is the best way to explain it. If
I didn't already had plans like the other night, I probably would have come.
Yeah. It's like good dumb.
Yeah, good dumb.
But other than that, week's been pretty chill. Is that Dash? No, that's GCW, Gold Class Wrestling. But that's not about wrestling.
That's not just Geelong City.
I don't know. I thought that too.
I guess they probably do other places.
No, because they kind of go around that. I think they've done some shows in Druin as well, which is a bit of a hike. In Druin. Somewhere in the country between Traralgon and Melbourne.
Okay, cool.
Like near Warragul.
Oh, yeah.
You lol Gold Class. Yeah, they certainly ain't Gold Class. It's fun. It's fun. And like, I'm just going to go to every single one because it's dumb. And it's like, it's right. It says it right now. I just like going out and doing something with my friends. It's $20. I have spent $20. It's way worse. So much worse.
Yeah, I spent $20 going to the movies in Queensland. That was it.
Exactly, and that was trash. Where I spent $20 and I got to watch Craig hit a guy. Like, that was dope.
I mean, for $20, Craig can hit me.
Deal. Anyway, that's stuff about what we've been chatting about. Oh, before we jump into the games that we have been playing, we should do this at the start. So for those that are watching the YouTube video or the podcast, you would hear at the start of the show that we talk about the Man Shake. So the Man Shake is a meal replacement shake that I used in 2020 to lose over 30 kilos, where Max has started this year as well. So we, as we are both powered by the Man Shake, I am an ambassador of the product. I should also mention that. We are sharing our Get Less Fat update with the idea of Pretty for PAX 2, Thinner Boogaloo, coming in October. How goes it this week now that you're back in the
Okay, so After last week I haven't weighed myself since I got back. I weighed myself after the show.
Yeah.
And I had put on about 1.2 kilos.
Cool.
Which was fun. A week off. It was fun.
That's
fun.
good flux.
I've lost about half of that so far.
Good.
So we're getting back there.
Because a lot of it is when you start changing your diet as well, your body just retain shit unnecessarily, like water. Like you've had any sort of carbs, but body goes, what's it called? Carbohydrate, as in take water, hydrate, give me water. So if you've had like any sort of breads or anything, it's like, so it's probably super easy to get rid of. But that's awesome, man. Well done.
So yeah, it wasn't too bad. I thought it was going to be way worse, but it wasn't. So that's all right.
Yeah, so where I'm at, I'm relying solely on non-scale victories now. So my weight is still pretty steady. So I'm still sitting around like 110. So it's still 30 kilos lost. And it's sort of fluxing up and down depending on what I'm doing. But I'm noticing different because I've now been going to the gym for near on 2 months. So even though my weight is steady, I am trimming. Which is great. So as like this brand new sweet jumper I'm wearing XL.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. Where previously the jumpers I would have worn were like 5XL, which is great. I went to the shop the other day and grabbed some XL shirts off the rack. That's fucking dope. So even though I'm still weighing the same, which is really hard for my brain to connect on, is even though I'm weighing the same, like shirts are fitting better. Yeah. Like I'm currently wearing 38 pants, but I could easily do a 36. I just haven't bought any because I only just bought these fucking shorts. I'm like, I don't want to buy new ones again. Which is cool. So yeah, so obviously some of the fat's burning down, but it's sort of, the muscle is sort of keeping that at the same weight. I'm noticing my shoulders nice and like broad, and my pecs are all stiff to touch. So if you ever want to get all handsy, that's
is that an invitation to chop you? So what's going on here?
That's actually
you're like I can take a chop now.
That's actually a good point, because that's one of the things, with one of my goals was for the end of the year to take a class of Melbourne City Wrestling and not die. And if that means me taking a chop, I need to build up that chest. And Dash is correct. It does cost $20.
It does cost $20.
But anyways, if you want to support us on our weight loss journey or start your own, there is a link in the description below. Click on that. That'll take you to the ManChat website where you can see everything they have to offer. There is no obligation to buy, of course. By simply clicking the link, you are showing your support to us, and that is kind of all we need. But yeah, so the link for those, if you are listening on the podcast service, is bit.ly/FTP Manshake. Go check that out and give it a go. But he says he'll get all handsy at PAX. So that's the thing I'm worried. Like, even though I'm super stoked for PAX, I'm gonna get really handsy at people.
I still am on the fence on whether it's happening.
Oh, it's 100% not happening. But if it does, I'm hugging people. And I think they know that, because right now, like, that venue is huge, but as per the rules, no more than 1,000 people in a venue of that size, period. Like, no flex, period.
Yeah.
It's like, there's not even that many. Like, there are more than 1,000 staff members working at PAX if they're doing the same scope and scale as they had previously.
Yeah.
I imagine there's gonna be a lot of refunds, but wait and see.
I mean, plus, there's still no international travel, so it's not like.
Yeah, and like Australia's cool, but our talent isn't that endearing. Unless you want some real good, like, C-list content creators, which if you do, don't ask me, we are D at best. But if you want some people to support those C's, we can be some good D's. Nope.
Enough tuning your own horn, Ryan. Let's move on.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the section called what we've been playing. We talk about, funny enough, what we have been playing. Max, both you and I have dived into the Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods DLC Part 1 and 2. You given it a little bit of a go.
Yeah, so I played about 2 to 3 hours of Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I do not remember how to play this game.
Oh my god!
Like one of those like I don't think they're referred to as beholders in this game, but the big eye floaty dudes. I'm like, there's a trick to like one shot you guys, but I do not know what it is.
Remember, it's the launch of grenades from the shotgun.
I'm just gonna like pull out that plasma beam thing and just like melt you until you disintegrate. And then I ran out of ammo instantaneously. I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to play this game anymore. I might go back and play the tutorials a bit. So I learned how to, kill all the stuff properly so I don't run out of ammo every 10 seconds. So obviously you get your ammo back by using the chainsaw.
Yes.
But there is no fuel ever.
Well, that's why there's always mooks around, like those single dudes. You can.
So it's cool. Like it's more of the same Doom. Like it's still that great fast action packed shooting. You play that risk reward game of the only way to gain health is by killing the enemies. But I just
so it's difficult for you to sort of to put real thoughts into it.
It is
rough.
It is rough, but again, it is definitely more of the same.
Yeah.
And I'm digging it. I'm just working back through that. I went back onto the ship where you can do all those little tutorial mini games, and I'm doing those to refresh myself because I do not think I'll be able to get through it otherwise.
So I did roll credits on the first DLC, and I'm about 2-ish hours into the second one, if not a little bit more. I'm really bad at measuring how much time I'm doing. I'm playing something, but same as you. I booted it back up, and I just got my fucking ass handed to me. Like, I mean, decimated. And I bumped it on the easy as well. I'm like, oh, shit, this is not going. I'm going to put it on easy, and then as I regain my skills, I'll bump it back to normal, which I finished the game on. I finished the game on normal, and it was fine. And then I guess it's because it's been a year, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
And like, but they also throw you straight in the deep end. There's like multiple of those like special enemies in the first level, in the first section.
Yeah.
And they just hammer you so quick. And I'm just like, just one. I just need one. Let me work on one.
Yeah, in the Ancient Gods DLC number 1, like you start in like a brutal arena and it just fucks your face in. And which is cool, but like if I had played this directly after finishing the first,
I would have been fine.
I'd be fine. I would have probably already finished both DLCs at this point. I would be like, sweet, boom, 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 done. And I'll be taking all the story and being like, yeah, not so much. It took me a lot longer than I originally anticipated. So I calculated X amount of time. I'm like, sweet. All right, well, I want to get as much of the DLC done before we record this. And we're recording on Sunday, so we should have some more time. Sweet. All right, so I might not be able to get this done in time. But that's fine. Like the DLC 1 is really, really cool. So you are on the hunt for this sphere, and there are 2 spheres. There's obviously like essentially a good and a bad sphere. The good one will bring the Almighty Father, whatever the fuck they call it in the game, and the other is Dark Lord. So you walk up, you're sent there with the idea of getting the All Father, and he just gets there and he crushes the shit out of it, grabs the fucking Dark Lord one. He's like, sweet, and walks out with it. And then you travel a bunch of locations in order to put this into a certain location, which will give the figure, whichever you were to choose, a physical form. Mm-hmm. So mild spoilers, I guess. So because no one really cares for the Doom for the story, just saying. But it's fucking enticing. So at the end, you go and you put the Dark Lord's thing in, and you create a human form for the Dark Lord, and that's how you end DLC 1. With the idea being that when the Dark Lord is dead, he and all the demons will be no more.
Okay.
So rather than creating a being, it's like no, obviously because the Doom guy or Doomslayer doesn't say anything. This is all provided through like exposition, and there's this random guy you bump into at the UAC station who kind of delivers all the exposition for you. And even calls you Doom Guy, and he goes, oh, sorry. Shouldn't have done that. This is very cool. So, and then you create the figure that is the form of the devil, of the Dark Lord, which is just an alternate version of you, the Doom Guy. Which is mad. So in terms of their universe, their fucking Dark Lord is the Doom Guy. That's dope. So then when you kick into the second DLC, obviously you try to shoot him with your shotgun, except they're the quickest DLC ever. He's like, nah, bro, we're in a holy place. That ain't happening. You and I will see each other very shortly. Meet me at this space. And he fucking phases off. And then you have to go to these other worlds. You have to like light this beacon to let certain people know that you want to fight the demon, the Dark Lord, the devil, or whatever. And you fly a dragon at some point, or a demon dragon thing, which is bonkers. And then, of course, they introduce more demons and shit for funsies. Yeah, so you've got, like, obviously, in the base game, the Marauder was the intensest one.
Yeah.
Like, there was the Marauder, who was probably more, because even though he had very clear, what was it called when, like, you watch their moveset happen in front of you and you time it.
Like a pattern.
Like a pattern, thank you. Why can't I think of the word pattern? Yeah, he has his own unique pattern where you can easily like game it. Where they had like the big horn fuck and he was the one that was like just brutal. Like he just unnecessary amount of health, unnecessarily hard. But the Marauder would kick your ass, but you could game him where this guy just got to pound him out for a while. Hot. So in the DLC number 2, they add those big horn fucks, but then they gave them armor and a fucking missile and like a landmine. So you have to either then blow up their landmine or destroy their armor and then just continuously punch them with bullets until they fuck off.
Oh, sounds wonderful.
Yeah, so there's a lot more bullet sponginess, better or worse, depending on how you like to play Doom, I guess.
Yeah.
But now that I'm back in that loop, I'm nowhere near what I was. I certainly couldn't bump it back up to normal like I did with the main game, but it is becoming a more easier grind now, which is fine. There's this new cool thing they essentially have little arenas, which Doom itself is arena based, but they're kind of like you light this torch, it creates a circle, and then enemies just come at you into like a wave.
Okay.
Like you just got to sort of remember. Because there's with all these new additions, and they'll give you little codex information about, hey, this is how you take out these new enemies. But as you said, it doesn't tell you how to take out the old ones. You almost have to like remember what it was like to take out the fucking beholder or whatever they call it in this game. All those little rhino pricks that run at you, the pinkies.
Little rhino.
Yeah, and like the reason I'm swearing at the game so hard is because
those bloody minotaurs and their flying saucers.
Yeah, fuck yeah. They're the ones that have the hover and shield. Man, why do you have a hover? Why do you have a shield and you hover? You're the worst. But yeah, there was no rage quit. There was a lot of rage though. This poor arm piece did get a lot of punching. And then I had that
$20.
And then I had slapping that chop in the chair. But then I had that moment of fuck this, and then I didn't rage quit. But it's 1:00. I probably should go to bed. Came into bed, woke up, sat here in the morning.
He's like tossing and turning, all angry in bed, punching his pillow,
chopping the pillow. Wake up, come in here first thing. I'm like, all right, I need to get this done. First try. Like, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Son of a bitch. Game's great. Like if you can get over that hurdle of getting your ass handed to you, and then, but like what I loved about Doom Eternal and what in the base game and what I love here as well is just that loop. That loop is cool because once you suss it out and you it's not quite like everyone's gonna get mad at this comparison, not like Dark Souls, but in the same way that like when you fuck up, you know that you fucked up. Mm-hmm. And it's thankfully it's not as unforgiving as say a Soulsborne game would be.
Except when you get like mangled through a wall by a sword in a Dark Souls game.
So that sucks.
That's not on me. That's not my fault.
But I mean, like the only time that I've ever really get handed to me in this game is if I stop moving.
Yeah, I mean the game's designed around not moving. Like you've got so much, you've got the aerial double jump, you've got multiple dashes. Like it's designed to be fast paced.
So the second that I stop in a location and I start getting hammered or I get trapped, because that's happened a couple of times. I stop in a corner and I grab the minigun like and then everyone just swarms me like, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. And then you gotta try to get out of it and also get everything you need. So like it is one of those things like, okay, I need to do this. And just like the base game, there is always enough ammunition, there is always enough health in that space if you are willing to do it. Yeah. Because if there's no ammo pickups, chainsaw, glory kill people. There's no armor, use your fire belch. There's no ammo, chainsaw them. You are given all the options that you need to achieve in that space, and it's just about how you choose to use them, how you choose to complete it. And if you don't, it's not as if they intentionally shortchange you. You will always have everything you need.
And plus, if worse comes to worse, you have a portable nuke to shoot at them. Yeah. Which I use lots to get through them first.
And there were some encounters where when you walk in, there's the BFG ammo right there. Like, okay, this is going to get fucking brutal, and they know, and they gave it to you as a freebie. Yeah. So they know, because the idea is if you've done the base game, if you've done DLC 1, as you head into DLC 2, you're probably either be good at the game or you're going to get your ass kicked. So I appreciate that rather than the what the sense that I get from Soulsborne games is like, you are going to die, suck it. Well, here it's like, you are going to die, but we have given you every tool to achieve it. Yeah. Like, we are not intentionally pulling something away from you to make it harder. Yeah. We have made it hard, but we've given you every possible tool. And I've said that like 4 times, but I want to stress that point because there are times where even myself, we're in those encounters being like, there's not enough health, there's not enough ammo, the fuck. And it's not the game. That is me.
Yeah.
I'm in short playing it wrong. Doom Eternal's great. Easily one of the best games of last year. And this DLC is fantastic. Viva Dill in the chat adds, I uninstalled the game after dying 20 times at one point for about 30 minutes into the DLC. Rip and tear it into an uninstall. That I can understand. Like I don't get determined all that often, but I suddenly got super determined in this game. Like, you know what? No, fuck you. I'm gonna take this game. I'm gonna beat it. DLC. So I went to how long to beat. You know, like that website that tells you approximately on average how long it takes. First one's like 5 hours. Second one's like 3 hours. Here I am in like hour 12 of DLC 1. I'm like, fuck me. You know what I mean? So like, all right, well, I gotta push. That's fine. But no, that game's good. So we should also stipulate as well, big thank you to Bethesda Australia for providing us a code for Doom Eternal back in the day, and they did provide us the deluxe edition, which allowed us to play both DLC 1 and 2. So big thank you to them. Max, you and I have both been playing It Takes Two as well.
Before we dive into another game that we've both been playing, I started playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 again this week because it launched on PlayStation 5 a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Now, again, I love this game. Super keen. Downloaded it straight away. When you go to the store to purchase the upgrade, it's like, hey, cool, you've purchased it. Do you want to download PS5 or PS4? Or both at the same time? Like, well, just want the PS5 version. Download the PS5 version, boot it up. Looks great. Looks fantastic. Go to start. My save file's gone. Have to download the PS4 version first to upload my save data for the PlayStation 5 version to get it. I really, really hate this. I really wish they would solve it, that I don't have to download 2 copies of the game to click one button and then delete the game. Because they did it with they've done it with everything. Like it happened with Marvel's Avengers.
Yep.
The download the bloody 80 gig file for the PS4 version to click one button and then delete it. But like, it's really frustrating. The game's great. I haven't re-downloaded PS4 yet. I think this is my excuse to replay the game because I don't have anything unlocked. So I'm just going to go back. It's not a long game. You just do your goals as you do them. Game looks so much better than it did. Like the game didn't look horrible on PlayStation 4, but it does now have that smooth 4K 60, and it's
yeah. The 60 I think was probably the big change.
So it's exactly the same. Online works, I feel, a lot better than it did on PlayStation 4.
Okay,
which is nice. Nice addition. I used to have a horrible time connecting to online servers. I know a few of my friends could not connect at all. I'm not having any issues now, so hopefully they don't either.
Well, I guess when it comes to the save thing, the thing that I don't understand is you're clearly uploading it from one server to another. That's how I read it, right? You're essentially converting it from one to the other. What are you converting? What is it changing? Like, it can't be that staggering different. And I understand compared to, say, the Xbox, which has their smart delivery. So you are literally playing the same version of the game, but it's just got the extra shit in it.
Yeah.
Where with PlayStation, as per the design, using previous generational models, whereas you are now playing a new SKU of said game, therefore it's not entirely the same, therefore it's not entirely transferable.
Yeah.
However, why can't it be? If it's as easy as pressing a button and going beep boop, then it should work. Because the only way I can think about it here is if you have to, using Marvel as an example, and then also using the Tony Hawk as an example, you're uploading it to Activision's web server, right, and then sending it back. With Marvel, Square Enix, you're going up to Square Enix and you're bringing it back. So it's very likely that isn't even changing the fucking file type. It's just moving it from one place to another. Why can't Sony do that same idea? Why does it have to go through that third party in order to get your save from one version to another? It's dumb. Now, we're no software engineers. We have no idea what it takes to do so. It just doesn't seem that complicated.
Yeah.
Like, if they can do it, go bing, bing. Unless there's... because I haven't actually looked at what the actual file type is, whether it even changes, if anything changes, whether it changes anything. I was trying to think of some smart words there, but I ran out. That would be the determinant. There has to be someone that's looked at it and been like, okay, well, this is how the saves change.
I'm sure it changes.
From a file perspective.
I'm sure it changes in some way. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. Obviously something needs to happen. Whether that be like, who knows?
You probably send it to the server and they in the code it says PS4 and they go eep and put 5 instead, and then it comes across. In the chat, Dash says, I can understand, but understanding the file structure for each version, there would be a conversion process there that would be difficult for each title to use the one toward process. It's probably what I was getting at. Like you said, like it should be this easy. It's very possible that it is not. Viva Del as Yoshida is manually updating each save file when you send them off. Thank you, Shuhei. We knew Shuhei was brilliant, and he's doing it. He's doing it for us.
Yeah.
He's being an absolute legend, one by one at his desk. What a champ. But yeah, it's obviously not. It would make sense if it were the same system.
Yeah.
Because like how can the save file alter? Because when you're using a locked in OS like the PlayStation or the Xbox, like in order for it to function, you would presume it would need to be the same file type, right?
Yeah.
In the same way that when you take, I know this is a very poor example, but when you take photos on your phone, it saves always at that one file type. Doesn't let you change them.
Yeah.
Because iOS goes, well, we know how to work with this format easily. There you go.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah, of course.
But also, not a fucking expert. Not even remotely close to one. It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. Okay, so It Takes Two is from the same. I didn't come prepared.
Joseph Fares.
Yeah, so the guys behind.
Hazelight is a studio name.
Yeah, A Way Out.
Yeah.
So it is that same cooperative storytelling gameplay that they did in the last game. The premise of this game is you are a couple on the brink of divorce, and your child is kind of obviously taking that to heart. She's very upset. And she turns you into dolls.
Yeah.
And then a Hispanic book comes to life and fixes your
I don't
marriage.
think he's Hispanic. I think he's supposed to be French.
Is he? Because he sounds Mexican.
Yeah, he really drifts between regions.
There's lots of book gyration and lots of, sexy movements from the Book of Love. And he's trying to, obviously this game being cooperative, you have to work together to get through the puzzles, to get through the levels, and it's going to fix your relationship.
That's the idea.
That's the idea. Now, I am playing this with my wife, who is not a gamer at all. So we stuck to... so obviously, one person can play the mother, one person can play the father. So I'm playing the father. My wife picked the female character. She's playing the mother. And for some reason, I don't know why, but in this game, the father does all the driving in all the vehicle-based areas. The mother does all the shooting and protecting.
Uh-oh.
Now, my wife is not a huge gamer. She's fine with puzzle platformers. Like she plays Tomb Raider and Uncharted and stuff. She's all right. The one thing she's having trouble with is moving, aiming, and shooting all at the same time. And unfortunately, that's all she has to do in this game. During the puzzling sections and the platforming sections, she's fantastic. She's great. She's beating me through most of the areas. And dying a lot less too, which is really embarrassing. But when it comes to shooting, she's having a really rough time of it, and it's been good because she got a little bit frustrated. And I'm like, just don't worry about it. We'll work around it.
She's calming you down.
No, I'm calming her down. She's getting frustrated. I'm like, just don't worry about it. Don't stress. Just when you can, please shoot this so I don't die. It's fine. Don't stress. So we've been playing for about 8 hours now, so we get to play every time my kid goes to sleep, which has been great. So we haven't played too much. I think we're about 5 levels deep, quote unquote levels deep. It's such an endearing game.
Yeah,
it's really good. The art style that the father's just this clay figurine, and the mother is this little wooden doll that's got like crocheted clothes. It's such an endearing graphic style. The level design of these levels are fantastic. Like you move through your own house to the garden outside, and you're swinging between trees and fighting killer bees and squirrels, and it's just, I'm really enjoying this game. It's fantastic. Just the way that it uses the cooperative play in its puzzles and levels design is just absolutely fantastic. It's making me want to go back and play their first game because I never played A Way Out.
Way Out's cool.
So
I'm down to play it if you want.
Yeah. I might take you up on that offer. It's been really fun. Like, despite there's been times where both my wife and I have been quite frustrated. We've hit a point that it's been a little bit too difficult just over experience in playing games. It's never too punishing. Like, obviously, because there's two of you, if one of you die, as long as the other person stays alive, you have infinite lives. Yeah. There's no death unless you both die, and the checkpoints are very, very forgiving. So, you know, both very experienced gamers and not so experienced gamers can definitely play this together and enjoy their time with it. It's really well designed. Yeah.
Very much so. Quick one address. So Vividil goes, Hazelight Studios, by the way. I did say Hazelight before, but I didn't say it confidently because I'm like, isn't Hazelight a game? No, but Haze is a game.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I'm like, in my kick it over my brain, I'm like, is Hazelight a game or I'll just make that up? Hazelight Studios. Yeah. I didn't say it confidently. But yeah, so I've been playing it as well. I played about 2-3 hours, I think. So I was playing alongside Dash. He received a code for review, and he and I were playing it together. So we got the way they kind of designate the game so far is areas, right?
Yeah.
So the first area is the shed, the second area is the garden, and then the third area is the bedroom of the daughter, and then there's more and more and more. Yeah, that's what. So we did the first. We just got into the third area. Haze is a classic PS3 game. Yes, beautiful. I knew I wasn't completely broken, but so we got up to just as we entered the thing. So we did one run on the Thursday night, so the day before it dropped. And for us. For me specifically, it was because it's currently sitting at a 90 on meta, which is doing great for your fantasy.
That's
by the way.
so good for my draft pick.
So I'm like, bullshit. No way is this worth the 90. Motherfucker, it's worth the 90. It's so good. It's brilliant. Like, first of all, as you said, it's endearing. It's charming. There is so much just character in the world.
Yeah.
Even though the mum and dad are interesting characters alone, like one's kind of a bit more laid back and that has its own catches, where the mother is a bit more of a workaholic. She sort of does long hours and overtime, and so for that reason there's some parts about her daughter that she doesn't know, and for as the bit more laid back father, there's a lot of things that he hasn't done or supported the family around. So that's very interesting as well. And part of it hits her because like she essentially does like minor voodoo magic on these two dolls, right? So she makes a wish, cries, and the tears hit the dolls, and that's what makes them become dolls. So both her parents are in this sort of fucking waking coma in the house. That is so unnerving.
It is, because the little girl goes and talks to them, and she's like, the mum's, for instance, passed out on the couch, and she goes up, she's like,
oh, you've got a headache again.
She's like, yeah, you got a headache again. I was really hoping you could come and play with my toys, and the mum's just like, out of it. She's like, all right then, and goes away, and I'm just like, oh,
which is horrifying, because when you're watching that, you look and you're like, oh my god, like this is a common occurrence. Yeah. Like there are times where this daughter has gone to seek her connection with her parents, and they've given her nothing.
I mean, it gets worse. I don't know if you're up to the bit, because you work out fairly early on in the game how to turn yourself back into a human.
Oh, really? I'm not getting it.
Okay, well, I won't mention it, but it's heartbreaking. It's
they mentioned they're like, they have the realization that if the tears brought them to the thing that they have to make her cry. I'm like, and they're like, yeah, we'll make her cry. I'm like, don't make your fucking kid cry. That's horrible.
The dad, no joke, goes, let's just destroy her favorite toy. That'll make her cry. And then I'm just like, whoa, that's a little much, dude. That's you're literally in the middle of a divorce. This kid is absolutely wrecked by it, and you're just like, let's break her shit.
Fuck. I don't think that will take away the emotional impact of when we get to this. So obviously minor spoils, I guess. But like, I think for me that sets the tone of what this game is, because there is we'll get into more of the nitty and gritty, but like in terms of the specifics around the vibe that they're wanting to deliver is these three individuals that are all disconnected. And like having the dad and having that limited disregard for her child says a lot about.
It's not something that comes straight out. Like they do, like the parents have this back and forth, because they're like, while they're doing their adventure, they're like, how are we going to do this? Like what's the best way to get ourselves back? Because at the moment, like all the care factor is still on them. Like they're not. The regard is just insignificant.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and like because there's a lot of bickering between the two of them about them sort of is that a lot of that sort of what you would presume parent bickering to be. As of right now, the one thing that I've noticed a lot is there's a big focus on the dad not doing stuff.
Yeah.
Not a lot about the mum not being there. It's primarily her berating him about not doing things, which is there's moments where we did this. Her and I did this, and she's like, oh, I didn't know that. Why didn't you tell me? It's like, well, you went around.
Yeah.
But it's not been a big through at the moment. It's mostly about him not doing shit.
But you see that in some of the areas, like you mentioned, the outside area. There's a lot of photographs in a specific location, and a lot of those photographs, like one of the parent is just missing.
There are some of all three of them,
Yeah.
but majority of them is just one or the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's as a child of separated parents, divorced parents, it hits home a little bit in that way. And as a parent myself as well, it makes me look at like how I am as a parent. So it's very, very good in that sense.
Yeah.
Like even though we've not obviously neither you or I have seen it through to its final point yet, but it is like wow, this is something. And yeah, on top of that, the game is just beautiful. Like even something as simple as obviously because with the dad made of clay and the mum made of wood, how they reflect light is incredibly different and it's visible here. Like there's minor texture differences and it's so stunning. And there are times where as Dash and I were playing, we've stopped and we've gone, whoa. And instead we're looking at this vista, like the second we, as I said, there's in the garden, like we're in a tree and we look out and we see a landscape and we both literally like stopped and just went, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was great. And like the combat's fun. And as you said, like in terms of there's simplicity behind it. So if you've got one person that's a strong gamer, one person that's a bit weaker gamer, you will work it out just fine. So for context, I played the female character because she had glasses. I was like, I have glasses, boo. Dash has glasses too, but I don't know why I picked it. So I ended up shooting all that sort of stuff, which was great. And I'm really, really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so much so that like I'm going to buy it now. So that way I can plan on my own with like my wife.
Yeah, so I bought it through. I have EA access or EA Play, whatever the hell their thing is. So I got it for like 10% less or whatever it is. So I think it cost me about $50.
Yeah, even at $60,
and
dope.
then obviously similar to their last title, when you boot it up, you can invite a friend to play. The friend gets a download code. They can download it. They can play the whole game through with you for nothing. If you send the code to someone else, those two people that got codes can each play the first chapter for free. Yeah. And then they'll be prompted to be like, hey, do you want to buy the rest of it? It's a pretty good system.
It's a great system, and it's the same thing they had No Way Out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I enjoyed No Way Out. There were some things about it at the time, that this is from recollections. I played it at launch with Paul from Player 2. And I remember some of it was a bit stiff.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, no, I can see what you're trying to do here. But some things weren't landing for me, but a lot of things were landing. So I was like, but this is from memory.
So I've seen a little bit of gameplay. One of the streamers that I watched was playing it with Adam Cole.
Baby.
So I watched a little bit of it, but it looks. I'd definitely be down to play it.
Well, I'm super down. If you want to play it and stream it at some point, that's
sounds good.
Let's do it. Oh, hang on. Ryan, you need to buy it to get the trophies to pop. Well, I'm fucking buying it. I didn't. Oh, I want trophies.
I've been getting trophies out the wazoo because my wife keeps killing me. You get so many trophies for like a rando deaths.
Well, it was one of those things. Like I was running, and cause there's a thing where you've got to use the nails to like hold a boss's arm down.
Yeah.
I went, and I just got pierced by Dash because I was like, he's like, all right, you ready? I'm like, yeah. And I start running for some reason, and I just get straight pierced into the wall.
The second Ellie got access to the hammer, she's like, and just squished me. I was like, thank you so much.
Well, I want trophies, so I'm gonna have to pick it up. Decision made. Because like No Way Out was not, from recollection, it wasn't a hard platinum. No, I haven't got the platinum, of course. It was just more of like play things and do these little side things, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Ellie's funny. There's in one of the levels. There's what I assume to be like they're interactable
mini games.
No. So they're toy rockets, and you can kick them and they launch. And Ellie's like, we have to find them all. I bet you there's something if we find them all. And just like through all the levels, she's just running around trying to find all these rockets to kick.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, probably.
Well, because I'm not a big trophy hunter, but like I'm not someone that will. I love the idea of trophies. I'd neither have the skill or the commitment to plat every game that I play.
Yeah. Well, she got upset with me last night because we just finished one of the puzzles in one of the levels. She's like, "You cheated." I'm like, "No, I didn't. What are you talking about?" She's like, "Because it showed on the background some stars, and every time you got an item that you needed, one of the stars would fill in. So we didn't fill in all the stars. I'm like, it doesn't matter. The puzzle's complete. It's fine. I can get into where we need to do the door."
She's like, no, but you didn't.
But you didn't get all the stars. I'm like, but I don't need all the stars because, like, I'm in. Like, let's just go. She's like, no, we have to go and get the other one. I'm like, but what's the point? Because we're just gonna bring it over here to open the door, which is already open. Like, let's just go. She's like, no.
See, that's what I would want. I'd be like, I need that star. That's my brain. So I appreciate Ali's fight.
I was like, but the door is open.
Oh man, we've been talking real long about just the games we've been playing. We haven't touched any of the news yet.
It's a good thing there's not much news.
Good, thankfully it's a very quiet week. But anyways, A Way Out has been out for a long time. But It Takes Two is also out at the moment. It is 100% worth it.
It Takes Two might be the highest scoring game on my draft list this year, I think.
I think it will be. It's like it's got such a charm, and like Hazelight have just blown away my expectations.
We should also mention, regardless of how you play this game, the game is in split screen. So if you're playing it online,
you still get split screen, which is great.
You still get split screen, so you can see what your partner is doing every second.
Which is really, really handy because, like, say, like, Dash, like, the thing was, Dash, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Or there'd be time like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he'd look at my screen, I'd look at his and be like, oh, yeah, go over that, do that.
Yeah.
Super easy. Yeah. Cool. And the chat, Way Out was a fun plat. Lots of cool stuff that makes you explore and experience cool stuff you might usually miss. From what I've seen, this plat looks like a way out. Just play the game and do a bunch of misc stuff so you can do it in level select easy enough. Yeah. Sweet. And like my wife and I haven't actually sat down and played a game together in a very, very long time. And I think this might be the one thing to be like, come on, let's go do this.
It's good fun.
I think it might be a good one. But anyways, let us know what you thought of Doom. We talked about that about 45 minutes ago. And It Takes Two in the comments below, wherever, Twitter, Discord, come chat to us and we'll talk about it. Anyway, this is a section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation.
So as we alluded to earlier, Brian, the online stores for the PlayStation 3, PS Vita, and PSP may be closing soon.
Oh, no.
So according to a new report from Kirk McKeon of The Gamer, Sony plans to shut down the online stores associated with the platforms PS3, PSP, and PS Vita. The PS3 and PSP shops are supposedly being taken offline on the 2nd of July this year, while the PS Vita gets to live a little bit longer until the 27th of August. Sony will confirm the news at the end of this month, with the information coming from a source, quote, familiar with the situation, according to the website in question. Further supporting this claim, however, is Scourgebringer director Thomas Altenberger, whose game is getting a PS Vita version next month. He states that the team knew about the PS Vita online store shutting, with it being, quote, the last game to be approved and produced, end quote.
But, see, that's the thing. I know there are more games coming to Vita right now. They may not even come out before August. PS3 makes sense. No one's making PS3 games anymore. PSP games, they are still available through your Vita. I think the Vita needs a little bit longer. But in terms of where I stand, it's cool. Like I haven't booted my PS3 up in the longest time. The Vita lives on the shelf. I don't like the idea of it going away. Because I said that the big thing for me is there's PS1 games on there, and if they're gone, they're gone.
Yep.
And without anything right now to support the backwards compatibility of playing PS1 or PS3 games, because it's like obviously PS Now exists, but not here in this country. Like there are titles identified as PS Now on the Australian PlayStation Store, but there is still no sign of it ever actually coming, and that is going to be a hurdle. Yeah. It's like, I just want to play fucking Metal Gear Solid 4 again, but I want to put my PS3 out. Like, the PS3, 2 generations ago, makes sense. PSP, even longer. In terms of, like, time, not generations. But the Vita is still getting love. There are still games coming to it, even though PlayStation and Sony essentially stopped caring about it about 45.
I wonder if it's all
10 minutes
stores
after
or
it came out.
just a region store. I wonder if the store will stay live in Japan as opposed to out region.
But it's all coming from the same place, right? Sort of.
Don't know.
I even using Netflix as an example. Netflix has servers around the country, but they all come from a central point, and then they get distributed around each of small servers.
Yeah,
If they all went to the one server, it would bottleneck and die.
Yeah.
You know, it's concerning for someone like if you look as excited Kumquat in the chat jumps in like you can if you join us on Twitch. For a company that's selling a digital only console, it is a poor move. Basically saying in 15 years it will be a paperweight if online stores have a 15-year lifespan. So thankfully you and I have both bought physical, but that is certainly true. Like this, I don't know about you, but this does put a lot of hesitation on the all digital future. Because the problem that we're going to have is that, license, like you may have the license forever, but if you like the store, if the storefront's removed, does that mean all those games are removed?
But I mean, in theory, the same thing applies to physical media. Like at some point, the production of that physical media stops, and if your shit breaks, it's not replaced. You can't get it back. You can't re-download it.
Yes, but you can go buy it again. There will unless someone destroys every single.
Yeah, I mean,
disc.
there's obviously a finite physical copy.
Yeah, but it's not an on-off button.
Obviously, it's not not going to get to the point where, oh my god, there's literally no copies of this game available ever anymore. But it could still happen in theory.
It could,
like terribly, but it could get. I mean, it could get to the point where it costs you $1,000 to replace it. You're not going to spend $1,000 to replace it. You've essentially lost that game. It's no longer available to you.
But what about in terms of preservation? Like the legacy of games.
But I mean, they're stating that all games that you already own digitally you can still download. So they're not going away. You're just losing the ability to purchase new stuff.
Okay.
Nor new old stuff. It'll be new to you, but it's old stuff. Like, you're going to be able to download your copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 because you have it. You own it. Like, you'd be able to download it. You just can't repurchase it again because the store's going offline. You're not going to lose access to the stuff. You're just going to lose access to the ability to purchase the stuff.
And on top of this, the issue that we're going to be facing is that, current CEO, Jim Ryan, has been on the record of essentially saying, who the fuck cares about old games? Not a quote.
Not a quote. To paraphrase poorly.
to paraphrase.
To put words in his mouth.
Yeah, to literally make up something he said. But no, he essentially has demonstrated very limited to little care about the legacy of games or, backwards compatibility.
Look, everyone...
Because I think his exact quote was, who the fuck wants to play... No, it wasn't. He goes, who wants to play Gran Turismo?
But that's the thing. Everyone loves this idea of nostalgia and being able to play all their stuff. How often do you actually play old games?
If nostalgia was so important, why did no one buy this?
I didn't.
My wife did.
How many times have you used it?
Twice. It's over there. Oh, shit, where is it? No, there it is.
It's over there. But that's what I mean. Like, everyone's always like, we want to be able to play our old stuff, but they never actually do it.
Well, there has to be data to say, like, because I know that there is data somewhere, but it's the problem of you going into a private ecosystem.
Yeah.
They have the power. Like, it's not a public library, which will ideally keep them forever, or a museum, right? They have the say whether it gets taken away, good or bad. And on the whole, fucking sucks. But I see the problem. The problem that I think, and this is the thing that I need to consider when it comes to looking at arguments like this, is that you and I are not the average gamer.
Correct.
You and I, because of the nature of the content creation that we do, we are constantly looking forward. Very frequently do we look back. So we are always going, what's coming out, what's new, what's coming, review this, play that, So very rarely we go, oh, let's go back to PS3, let's go back to fucking a game that came out a year ago. Like the idea, I'm like, oh, I want to play the Control DLC. You know what I mean? And that's the idea
it is hard.
that we face.
Yeah.
So Puck said he bought one, but he ripped it out and just put a Raspberry Pi in it. That's dope. I did buy a specific USB just so I can plug it in.
I mean, I must admit, I have the SNES Mini. I bought a SNES Mini.
Yeah. Do you play it often?
Yeah, I actually use it all the time.
Yeah, but SNES are really good games. And Kumquat says Sony haven't officially released anything yet, so there is there's so much speculation at the moment. There are rumors that trophy syncing and access to games may also be affected. Just hoping they release a statement soon to confirm or deny exactly what's going on. See, this makes a little bit more sense because we know that when they allowed the ability to change your PSN name, that this is going to affect any games from X date.
Yeah, they're
backwards.
like mad rippled. I have no idea how that affects. Like, it's crazy. So obviously, you know, a lot of places.
I can tell you exactly how it works if you like.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I know how it works. But like, you know, you look at a lot of other places that give you that give you an account essentially number or phrase, and then you pick your username.
Yes.
This username is your actual thing, and then it just fucks everything up when you change it.
That is 100%. So
like,
the big difference
instead of just being like I'm this hashtag blah 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 blah, it's just I am just this. And once you change that, it just screws everything up.
Literally, like,
and that was the dumbest idea.
You
ever.
couldn't be more correct.
That's the dumbest idea.
Yeah, so that is the big hurdle. Is that the old system was just like you're Betson. All right, fuck it, you're Betson. You committed, right? Like but can I change it to like a lowercase? No.
Can I be Betson 1? No.
No.
Sorry.
Fuck you.
I think I like my gamer tag.
Yeah, lucky. Mine's just my Betson. Mine's just my surname, so it's super easy. And I've no real need to change it. But like that's I think once they worked out how to fix that, and I imagine they're trying to rework the back end. They will have to fuck off that old back end.
My thing, why didn't they
hemoglobin.
Instead of going and doing what they did, why didn't they just add in a section that says this is your screen name? Then you can change your screen name whenever you want, and then it just shows the screen name instead of your
because I have
name.
a feeling it's so baked in their back end that it's fucked.
Probably.
And like, because you got to remember when the PSN first started, it was an in-browser thing on your PS3.
Yeah.
It took a long time before it didn't become an app.
Yeah.
So that demonstrates how old all this coding and bullshit is.
True.
You know what I mean? Like it's something. And
it's
something. And there had to be that point where in order to push the PSN into its new future, ideally, they had to fucking kick off the old, or they're just patching it so hard it doesn't work anymore.
They're doing some back burning.
Yeah. They're essentially just burning off the old scrub in the back.
Gross.
I'll move on to the next one. This one's all about emulation. So while we wait for the official confirmation on the closing of said online stores, Max, a patent has been dug up by Reddit which seemingly reveals plans for trophy support in emulated titles. Quote, a trophy trigger is detected during emulation of the game by comparing a memory value of the emulation game to a predetermined value and assigning one or more trophies to the user based on the detected trophy trigger, the abstract explains. An extremely similar document was published almost 10 years ago, although this new one does have an application date of the 30th of January 2020. Sick.
Yeah, we're never getting emulated.
No, it's
PlayStation. We're never getting it. I don't think it's
the idea is really cool, but I'm a fuck right now then.
No. So
there's nothing we can add because
it's similar to the online store.
Sony literally don't care.
Yeah. So let's talk some BAFTAs, Ryan.
Baffled.
The Last of Us 2 picked up 3 awards in animation, Game of the Year, and it picked up the award for the best performer in a lead role for Laura Bailey playing Abby.
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Other Sony exclusive titles, Sackboy, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and Dreams all took home awards also. It's weird. So the BAFTAs have like what they refer to as the EE Game of the Year, and then they have the best game. Like one of their categories is best game, which Hades won.
Hades is best game.
Yeah, but like how is one game whatever EE is? I have no idea. Game of the Year, but one is best game. How can one thing win Game of the Year if the best game is already given to something else?
Maybe whatever the EE
not
one
saying
is.
Not saying that Last of Us 2 didn't deserve it, because it was great.
Maybe it's more of this is the factual one, and this is like objective and subjective. Yeah. It's like, look, objectively, The Last of Us is by far the better game in these number of ways.
Yeah.
Objectively, fucking Hades rocks. You know what I mean? That's what
Hades
it could be.
so
I haven't played Hades personally.
Hades is so good.
Because it's not on console. The second it's on console, I'm suddenly going to give shits about it.
I mean, it is, but it's just not on the console.
Not
of
the console
preference.
that I want to play on, which is the hard one. Interestingly enough, speaking of the film and television. As we know, PlayStation Productions has some plans in the work, a new one. They're once again branching out one of its properties to the big screen, as Deadline reports that a Ghost of Tsushima film is happening, which is good, which means people will say the name correctly once it becomes a film.
Or they'll get it wrong in the film.
Oh,
and then everyone will say it incorrectly.
Quote, we're excited to be partnering with Chad, and 8711 Entertainment to bring their vision of Jin's story to the big screen. We love working with creative partners like Chad. Who's Chad?
It's the guy from John Wick. It's Chad Stahelski.
Oh, dope. I thought it was just some dude named
No,
Chad.
no, it's the guy who did John Wick.
Oh,
so we're getting John Wick as Tsushima.
Oh,
They're gonna kill Jin's dog at the start of the movie.
Oh, I have a mental erection. That's gonna be awesome. Shout out to Chad. We love working with creative partners like Chad, who have a passion for our games, ensuring we can create rich adaptations that will excite our fans and new audiences. Quote end quote. Read statement from PlayStation Productions head Assad Quizlibash, dope name. Taking to Twitter, Sucker Punch tweeted, quote, Ghost of Tsushima on the big screen! Exclamation mark. We're huge fans of Chad Stahelski and can't wait to see his take on Jin's journey! Exclamation mark. End quote.
Cool.
I didn't want to scream, so I emphasized the exclamation mark.
I mean,
neither you or I really cared for the story,
man.
But like having him do the action,
I played way more of the multiplayer than the actual story of Ghost of Tsushima. But they've obviously got someone who knows the genre well. Yeah. So it's gonna be good.
Well, because like John Wick, fantastic, obviously, and then Nobody, the one with Odenkirk, Bob Odenkirk. Is
Saul.
Better Call Saul. And he's essentially doing John Wick, but with Saul, which is dope. Like, I haven't seen it yet, but like I saw the trailer and I'm like, when is this coming? Can I give it my money already?
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I want to see it now. Let's go to the movies. You and me, hot date.
All right, sounds good.
I just want to see mass violence. It looks fantastic, and I think in terms of delivering that awesome level of like hard, realish violence, I think this dude can probably deliver that from a action filming standpoint.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think he'll be able to handle the property really well.
Yeah. In terms of the
I think it'll well, having not knowing the story, I wonder how well it'll translate to the big screen.
Yeah. And apparently Sucker Punch are creative consultants.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Big time. Also, nice work, Chad.
Ryan, the Future Game Show happened this week.
I didn't know.
So the Future Game Show Spring Showcase happened earlier this week. There is way too much news and announcements and surprises to go through everything, but basically, they showed off the first gameplay or game screening of the Lord of the Rings Golem.
Looks like asshole.
Golem looks really weird. Like, really weird.
I wouldn't say it looks asshole. I've seen way worse games, but I look at it, I'm like, ooh, I do not want to play you.
There were a lot of Sony games there. I think Kena, Bridge of Spirits got a little bit of love. I think the new Oddworld game, Soulstorm.
Yeah, Soulstorm.
Soulstorm was there.
It discussed that there's a physical edition coming the
following after, because obviously it's launching on PlayStation Plus next month.
No, month after.
No,
is it April or is it May?
June.
Fuck, I don't know anymore.
I don't even know.
It's coming at some point.
It's coming soon. It's launching on PlayStation Plus.
And like, there's a physical edition, which means it has a statue. The statue looks fantastic. Not $250 fantastic. Saying the guy that almost that sadly missed out on buying the Resident Evil 7 $450 fucker. I don't think the Abe statue is that good, but it's fantastic. It looks great.
But there was like 40 odd announcements and game showings and stuff, so go check it out.
Is that cool? Was it War Hospital?
Yeah, so the one of the War Hospital's coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 next year. It seems to be similar to that of like 2 Point Hospital, but in World War II. Sounds dope. So you set up like war hospitals.
That could be a Betson game.
Nah, I think it's a Betson game.
Oh yeah. But yeah, if you want to check it out, there's a bunch of cool things in there. A lot of small independent sort of games.
So many
it's
indie
kind of
games,
things that they're coming out within the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So no long term stuff. It's just sort of
except for Lord of the Rings Golem, which is next year.
Yeah, the near future game show.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be sooner, and then they realized it was bum, so they pushed it. Speaking of games that aren't bum, Outriders. With the game launching this week, developer People Can Fly have detailed how they will be dealing with cheaters in their upcoming looter shooter. Those identified as having cheated will have a, quote, discreet but visible watermark, big peen on the side of their face, placed on their HUD at all times, meaning any gameplay they share online can immediately be identified as illegitimate. They will still be able to play the game, but the studio is also preventing them from matchmaking with players who do follow the rules. Cheaters will only be able to team up with other cheaters online, very similar to Fall Guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Which means that matchmaking process will take a lot longer. People Can Fly will check all accounts on launch day and then at regular intervals after release. Of the 2 million players who sampled the Outriders demo, 200 were identified as cheaters.
It's not bad.
Max.
It's not bad. Hey, I didn't cheat.
It wasn't you.
That wasn't me.
Quote, we can see you all. Yes, even the person who gave themselves 600 legendary weapons, end quote, the developer posted on Reddit. People Can Fly then goes on to outline what it considers breaking the rules. Intentionally running the game on PC without easy anti-cheat. 2, modifying game files to enhance a character, levels, skills, inventory, etc. 3, externally modifying game time to reduce time-dependent features such as vendors and challenges.
So no doing the old time travel trick of just changing the system clock by an hour and then being like, yep, I waited my hour. I'm good now.
Using a trainer program or similar to gain advantages within the game. And finally, number 5, using gameplay-altering programs such as aimbots or wall hacks.
So obviously with this being a cross-platform title,
Yeah.
most of these are going to be aimed at the PC players.
Yeah, because fucking PC are the worst.
And it's interesting that it's a good choice to put the cheaters with the cheaters because it means that you can't have random people join your lobby, drop all this crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden you're branded as a cheater because you got hacked weapons and all this other stuff. So it's good.
Yeah, it's just that I referred to the to Fall Guys, right? Where the idea is like they all got put on their own shitty fucking server where they all cheat against each other and like no one really wins. Like that's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's a really good idea, and it's obviously it's good that they're implementing it already. They did say that if you cheated in the beta, if you delete your account and start fresh, you won't be tagged.
Oh, that's cool. Like,
So
look, we've given you an out.
Yeah, they've given you an out. You got to delete all your characters, like everything. You can start again fresh, and you won't have the little cheater watermark.
So you mentioned
I mentioned that I cancelled my pre-order.
Yeah.
Why? So
because you were pretty keen on it.
I am still keen on it. I'm just not gonna pay for it because I can play it on Games Pass. I know. It's really hard to pay $120 for a game that I technically already quote unquote own.
It's definitely hard to pay $120 for a game, man. So brutal.
And because it's cross-platform, I can still play with all my friends anyway. Because most of the time we're in a Discord chat. Because all chat systems suck on all consoles, in my opinion.
Oh, did you hear the rumor mill this week that apparently Mark's looking at buying Discord?
Yeah, I'm really upset about that because if they put Discord on Xbox, it means they're going to get rid of their crappy party chat and you're just going to be able to make chats in Discord and it's going to be so much better.
It's better for everyone playing Xbox.
It's way better for everyone.
but in the same way, like maybe they own it, but then just license it.
Skype's dead anyway.
Skype fucking sucks. Skype sucks bomb. Discord is where it's at.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you think if Microsoft does buy that, do you think they won't limit it?
I mean, if they do, my first thought is what happens to like, what is it? Discord Nitro. Do I get like Nitro credits because I own Games Pass?
Oh,
like do I just get like free server boosts because I'm a Games Pass dude? Because like I own an Xbox, I don't play it often, but I have Games Pass, so I never ever have to buy a game for my Xbox. I just always got something to play when I want to, when I feel like playing something, which is not often anymore, I must admit. My Xbox is now the Disney Plus machine in the land.
My Xbox is still at my brother-in-law's, and I gave it to him in a year ago.
It's literally a movie box.
I gave it to him at the start of the pandemic. He's like, we can't go anywhere. Can't do anything. Can I get your Xbox? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And I was going to use it to trade towards my PS5, and then I forgot. And he still has it.
It's our lounge room media center because our TV is so old that the Samsung App Store doesn't work anymore.
Mine's pretty close to that.
So it's got the Xbox plugged in, so I can use like Netflix and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's a very expensive.
So I got the PlayStation, the old PS4 in there, the Pro in there, which is essentially James. That's right. So my 4-year-old has his own fucking PS4 Pro. What a prick.
All right. Kojima Productions. Kojima Productions artist Yoji Shinkawa may have just dropped a hint on when we can expect a new game announcement from the studio. In an interview with YouTube channel AI Hub, as reported by VGC, Shinkawa is asked about the developer's next project. He replies, quote, "Well, yeah, I'm doing something for sure, and I could tell you probably that we can announce it quite soon," end quote.
The hell kind of quote is that?
Not to mention, Kojima is constantly posting shit on his Twitter that's so cryptic and nonsensical you'd never work it out anyway. He's probably dropped the name of the new game and the release date for it. None of us would know.
Yeah. So, as the name of the episode suggests,
I super want Death Stranding 2.
do we want Death Stranding 2?
Yeah. 100%.
What can they do?
No, probably nothing. I would like a game. I don't know. I want more stories like they told in this game. Like the character development and the character stories of all the people that played a role in Death Stranding was just so amazingly well told. I want more of that. I don't necessarily need it to be in that same world, but I want more of that.
So you essentially just want more Kojima?
Yeah, sure.
Which is cool, like, because that's the thing. If I look at it with like, because even like Metal Gear, sometimes it's like, oh, how are you gonna, like, what would the next one be? And it's, oh, you somehow managed to deliver the next Metal Gear. Dope.
Yeah,
and I guess that's the same thing that we would see here, right? It's like, well, how would he add to Death Squared? Because he talks about
Death Stranding, not Death.
Sorry, Death Stranding. Death Squared, very different game. I'm talking about Death Stranding because he's talked about it being a new genre, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, he could add to it because we have no idea what happened to the rest of the world.
That's true. Oh, that's
we
very
literally
true.
just
Or
linked America. That was it.
Australia.
Who knows what's happening down in Australia? We've got kangaroo BTs down here.
Oh, that would suck so hard.
Like drop bear koala BTs.
They do that weird growl that koalas do, and you're like, oh shit, and then it gets you and gives you chlamydia.
And we've got like ghost spiders and like all the other kind of stuff. They don't even need to put monsters in this game if it's in Australia.
Death Stranding out there.
That's what I mean. Like we literally know nothing about the rest of the world in that game. It just was America.
Well, see, that's the big thing as well, because like it is like Kojima is very clearly infatuated with American culture.
Yeah.
And like we can see that from something as simple as Metal Gear. Like if you look at Metal Gear and just its focus on the character, like, you know, like Solid Snake is literally Snake Plissken from Gangs of New York. You know, and then you've got Bowie, even though technically he's not American. But you mean like you've got all these direct influences from 80s action movie pop culture, and unless he kind of decides that in terms of 80s movies, like take the trip into Mad Max and jump into Australia, like it'd be interesting. Like for me, I would just be like, give me whatever, man. I still hope that one day we see whatever Silent Hill is. You know, there was that rumor mill for the longest time that he was working on a remake of Silent Hill. That would be dope. But not a remake, sorry, a new Silent Hill game. But was it? No. Yeah. Right? Because wasn't there? I remember that there was a rumor mill that he was getting back onto it again.
Well, he was working on something,
but it was
like,
with PlayStation.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know. Like personally, I just give me anything. Like, because you know, as we discussed around our time of Death Stranding with the review, was I had that internal conflict. Am I a Metal Gear fan or am I a Kojima fan? And we learned very quickly that I'm in fact a Kojima fan. Yeah. So for me, if he comes out and tells me anything, I'm gonna be like, I have no idea what you just said.
Maybe don't. Hopefully he doesn't do the rollout that they had of Death Stranding, because we saw a lot of Death Stranding constantly, but not much.
Yeah.
Like they showed a lot, but what they showed was not much.
Very true, but also he had a very close release date too.
Yeah.
So Death Stranding released a year, about 16 months ago, right about. Not even. So like, it's very unlikely he'll have anything. He might have something in the back end of this year, because that'll make it 2 years, and he's able to deliver Death Stranding in only a couple of years.
Well, obviously he had the advantage of not needing a game engine, because he picked up the Decima engine that's running.
Which he could do that again as well, and there's nothing wrong.
Because that engine obviously is immaculate. They're not changing it between Horizon and Forbidden West, are they? They're not.
No, it's still being used for Horizon. One thing I found out recently, I don't know whether this is correct or not, but I did hear this, and I went, oh, that's cool. Apparently it's the same engine that you ran Until Dawn. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's a fun fact. Yeah, so that's the thing for me. That's, gimme. Gimme. But the other thing as well is that we know that there was allegedly doing something with Stadia, right?
Yeah.
So he's done the exclusive thing with PlayStation, which then was broken when it came to PC. We know he was planning on allegedly in talks for something exclusive with Google. Now, many people would have noticed that at one of the last things with Phil Spencer, he had a whole Ludens, the spaceman, on his shelf, or the baby, one of the two.
Mm.
Do you think it's possible that Microsoft, with all their money that they are just happily splashing around right now, do you think it's possible that Kojima might work with Xbox exclusively?
I mean, anything's possible. And, like, it's really hard to be like, no or yes. Like, anything's possible.
Well, let's weigh out those pros and cons.
Like, it depends on what his deal is, or what his deal was with Sony.
Second party.
Mm.
So as they are not a first party studio, the idea is Sony essentially helped fund the creation of Death Stranding. Kojima owned and retained all the IP rights, with the idea of just, we've helped fund it, it's exclusive here for us. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Right? And then Microsoft can do the exact same thing. They can be like, here's a stack of money, make us an exclusive game, you keep everything.
Yeah.
Because this is, admittedly, I was listening to another podcast earlier in the week, and I was sitting in my car because I was driving home from work when they talked about this. I was like I kind of had that moment of hypocrisy when it comes to exclusives. Like, I'm never someone that stands here and be like, PlayStation needs exclusive demand. Like, I'm not this big fucking exclusive collector person. Right? I'm not like, no one else can play these games. Like, right now, if people can play the PlayStation first parties on PC, fucking good on them. That's amazing. I have no issue with that at all. But then someone mentioned the idea of, like, what if Microsoft buy it? I'd be like, well, that'd be shit. That's not very fucking fair. And they're like, oh, wait, hang on.
I mean, the good example would be like MLB The Show, for instance. Yeah. It's been Sony exclusive.
That's dope. So spread that shit out.
It's now everywhere. You'd be Devo if it wasn't on PlayStation. If the exclusive rights just changed hands and they just went to Microsoft.
Yeah.
You'd be shattered.
Because I think there's a big difference between releasing something on one and then taking it away.
Yeah.
And shifting it over. But, an example would be like Sunset Overdrive, right? Because this was the thing I thought about. Like, Sunset Overdrive came out exclusively on PlayStation. It's made by Insomniac Games, which are now owned by PlayStation. So, if they were to make a second...
You mean it came out on... It was an Xbox exclusive?
Yes. Sorry. It was an Xbox exclusive.
Sorry, I got really confused there for a second. I'm like, hang on a minute.
My brain said Xbox, but my mouth processed something different. It happens all the time. So, yeah. So, if PlayStation were to come out and make Sunset Overdrive 2 and it was exclusive to PlayStation, I would have an issue with it. Personally.
Would you have an issue with it if they came out and made Sunset Overdrive 2 and made it exclusive to Xbox when they're owned by PlayStation?
No, but in this circumstance, it would, if they made it cross-play,
it's getting to the point where obviously there's a few PlayStation exclusives coming out this year that are going to have a Microsoft splash screen because they're those developers now owned by Microsoft.
But the point I'm making is, like, if Sony were to make Sunset Overdrive 2 and it's exclusive to PlayStation, I'd be like, that's a bit shit.
Yeah.
Because you are directly hurting that is direct hurting the fan base for that game. If they released it and then made it multi-platform, sick. That's like, even though it's technically a first-party studio, they are not intentionally hurting fans of the original game.
Yeah, of course.
It's same as like Titanfall, right? Titanfall 1, originally Xbox exclusive. Then they made it multi-plat. Bang. I have no issue with that at all. But if they went the other way and went exclusive Xbox here, I'm sure this has happened in the past. There's got to be but weirdly enough, using Kojima as an example,
where sequels have come out on one platform but not another.
Yeah, like you cannot play. Bayonetta 3 will be doing it because 1 and 2 are on things, but 3 is only coming to Switch. Marvel's Ultimate Alliance is only on Switch.
Yeah, that was dumb.
That's answered my own question. But so right now you can play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on Xbox anytime you want, but you can't on PlayStation at all. backwards compatibility.
But that's not a developer issue. That's a different issue entirely.
Very much so.
Yeah.
I'm just saying in terms of like it's weird that like the history is locked in certain ways.
Yeah, but I mean, all the companies do some weird shit. Like, for instance, this weekend, if you don't buy Super Mario Brothers All Stars by the end of this weekend, it is gone forever. Apparently, the game just does not exist anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
Because like Nintendo,
Should I buy it?
I'm thinking about it. Because like you've got like 2 days left. If you don't buy it now, apparently it's just never going to exist anymore. Which seems bizarre to just put this arbitrary date of like when you're just not going to sell it to you anymore after this date. It's so bizarre.
Apparently, a lot of Mario games are dying tomorrow. They're dying on the 31st.
Yeah, well, I think that Mario Battle Royale game is also disappearing on that day as well.
Weird.
Yeah, weird stuff. Anyway, Ryan, the next one's for you.
Oh, Resident Evil!
It's very short.
Capcom has announced that the next Resident Evil showcase will take place at some point next month, so that's in April, linking in with the Japanese publisher's 25th anniversary plans. Happy 25th anniversary to Resident Evil.
Did you see the big, the bloody timeline?
How good is it?
Infographic?
Oh, loved it. An exact date hasn't been revealed just yet, and neither have any specific details, so the expectations can be correctly aligned. All we know now is it's happening in April, and that Capcom, quote, doesn't want to spoil any surprises. So one thing you will know is that Reverse? No. Yes.
Yeah, Reverse.
Resident Evil Reverse is public beta this coming next month, so in April.
On PlayStation 4 and backwards compatibility. With
PS5. So I played it on the closed beta using the Resident Evil Ambassador program. It's average, but maybe there's been some changes between then and now, because I think that may technically have been an alpha. So I'm interested in that. But for me, it's just more, give me more Village, give me more whatever the fuck they're planning on doing. Because we talked about it here before, I'm a new Resident Evil fan, but I have become such an avid fan in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see the trailer for the new Netflix Resi.
Yep.
The next movie or whatever. That would be cool.
I'm sure they got a ton of surprises up their sleeve too, especially for 25 years.
Hard aroused.
Quick bitch, Ryan.
Yes.
Returnal has gone gold.
It has. Congratulations to the team over at Housemarque, which hopefully means review codes are now soon.
Hopefully it doesn't mean what happened with Cyberpunk and that it's gone gold. And
no, I think Cyberpunk was the only exception to that
he's
rule.
now no longer on the PlayStation Store.
I have a doubt PlayStation will ever let that happen again.
Yeah, hopefully. Ghost of Tsushima has sold 6.5 million copies.
God damn.
Go them. Hitman 3 is getting a 7-part DLC campaign themed around the 7 deadly sins.
Sick.
Cool. And Dreams is back in viral news with realistic office carpeting.
I saw some things recently. I'm like, damn, it looks really good. I think it was carpetized or something else.
Yeah, so basically the image in question is just, you're in an office, there's office carpet, it's just got this crazy light coming through it, and it looks real. It just looks real. I was like, cool. People doing shit in Dreams still.
And I've not gone back to Dreams at all.
I wish I was more creative to do shit in Dreams. It's just not for me, unfortunately. I mean, the tutorials are pretty handy, but I'm still just not good.
Yeah. All right. Well, here are the top 10 best-selling games for the weekend on the PlayStation 4 for the week ending the 21st of March, 2021. Number 10, GT as a Gran Turismo Sport. Number 9, Need for Speed Heat. Number 8, Assassin's Creed 3. Remastered.
Yep.
I have to double check that one. I'm like, what? Number 7, Battlefield 5. Number 6, Little Nightmares 1. Number 5, Rainbow Six Siege. Number 4, FIFA 21. Number 3, NBA 2K21. Number 2, Grand Theft Auto 5. And number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Oh, speaking of GTA, did you see in our Australian news that Peter Dutton blames Grand Theft Auto for the shape of...
Oh yeah. So it's not the systemic misogyny. It's the games. It wasn't a political party that allowed and condoned the sexual assault of a woman.
Yeah.
It's the games. Even when I knew it was members fiddling staffers, it was the games. Fuck you, Peter Dutton, you bald prick. Eat fucking dick, you garbage person.
Upcoming titles this week, we have Doom 3 in VR coming.
Fuck, I was going to reach out about this.
Coming tomorrow
play
at time of recording. I can set up the VR.
All right, I'll reach out.
We have Narita Boy coming out on PlayStation 4 March 30th, and we have Outriders coming to PS4 and PS5 April 1st.
Sick.
Not much.
Like, Doom 3 VR is pretty cool.
That's the best-selling games for the video. No, man, sorry. I do not have the stats for the best-selling games for the video.
Yeah, for some reason, now we've talked about this like each and every week, right? Why are we only getting the PS4 sales? Like PlayStation Australia, because we just essentially steal the infographic from them. And the question is, why do you not give PS5 data?
Because we're still buying PS4 games.
But it should be there.
Is there enough PS5 games, native PS5 games, to make a top 10?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be the same 10 games every time?
It's the same 10 games in the PS4. Like, there is literally no difference. No. Chat? No.
So, yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
Dumb.
I'm assuming it's what it is. Anyway.
But we're getting the same thing anyway. It doesn't really matter. But anyways, thank you everyone for joining us in this week's episode of the show. Thank you everyone for jumping in the chat as well. Even the last gentleman who wants me to say, right on my cock.
Is that?
I don't care. I'll fucking say it anyway.
Sorry, I'm trying to read if the Assassin's Creed game was 3 or...
No, it is 3 because it's got the tomahawk. It's got the guy with the tomahawk. His name I can't remember. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining, getting part of the show. Much appreciated. Max, send it home. Yeah, thank you. No worries, dude.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, please check out our socials. Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All of our links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can, just like this jolly gentleman did, you can become part of the show by joining the chat. It's an absolute blast. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are on the podcast, so be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, like, subscribe, leave a comment below. We endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support the show financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. We should also
I was going to say public service announcement.
Public service announcement. We're not going to have an episode next week because it's the Easter break. I'm off seeing my mum in the other side of Victoria. So we are way too lazy to record anything during the week because our schedules are flat out. So happy Easter, everyone. Have a lovely break. We will see you in 2 weeks as we push ever so closer to episode 200, which is slightly further away now because of our laziness.
The vicious cycle. What are we up to? What number are we up to?
190.
Is next week the 200? Is that
it?